I'll
Jeez.
see if I can find some and bring some down to when I go to Kentucky here at the end of the month.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Yeah, that would be epic.
Oh yeah, you guys should link up because you're going to be right near Larrikin. Dan.
Been our neck of the woods.
Yeah, we're coming down at the end of August to do a Maker's Mark pick.
Sorry about that.
Podcast about bourbon and the ones who drink it. This is Bourbon Matters. Welcome to Bourbon Matters. I'm Jake.
I'm Dan.
And I'm Gold Eagle Jake. And today we've got a very special guest. We have Greg Keeley, the founder and co-owner of Larrikin Bourbon Company. Welcome, Greg.
Hey guys, Jake, and Dan. Dan, of course. I've had to write this down, Dan, so don't be offended. Dan in the black shirt, Jake 2 in the Nirvana shirt, and Golden. I'm going to keep calling it Golden Eagle because that's just in my head. Golden Eagle Jake in the, I don't know, what is that, like a mustardy, dirty looking shirt.
Dead and Company.
Dude, love it. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. See?
That would be a better
koala. It would be, yeah. I mean, it kind of is a koala.
It looks like a koala. Yeah.
If I hold it right here, it's a koala.
It is a fucking koala. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, yeah. But it's funny you say Golden Eagle because I can't even tell you. It's absurd how many people think it's Golden Eagle. It's more people think it's Golden Eagle, more distilleries. I don't know why, but distilleries think it's Golden Eagle. And the amount of times we've gotten a barrel pick with it written Golden Eagle on it. Yeah, and it's like I look back and like I filled out the form as Gold Eagle for the label and they still put Golden Eagle on it.
So you know now when we do a barrel pick with Larrikin, I am so going to put Golden Eagle on it. Like 100%
you need to do
it's going to be.
You need to do at least one case of Golden Eagle.
Oh yeah. Oh, don't worry.
Just throw in some bottles mixed up in our cases, and it'll be like a fun Easter egg hunt.
And, and all our social media will point them to your store in Golden Eagle at Golden Eagle. Mm-hmm. So, I like the name Golden Eagle. It's like more,
Yeah, there's a joke. It's like the Golden Eagle China buffet. And then we have Gold Eagle
that's what it's like,
liquor store. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what we joke
I'm sure
about.
I've eaten a Golden Eagle buffet.
Right? But anyway, enough about Golden Eagle for now, at least. We had Greg at the store maybe a month ago, 2 months ago, to do a masterclass on Larrikin. Greg did a phenomenal job with his presentation. He's a very personable, funny guy, great storyteller. I thought immediately we need to get this guy on the podcast. So thanks for making it happen. And Larrikin is also sort of new to the Illinois market.
Right.
When you guys first came into the market, there was a lot of buzz around it here. We had a lot of requests for Larrikin. And I think the brand, a lot of our listeners are in the Illinois market. We do have listeners all over the country, but most of them I think are in Illinois and local to Gold Eagle. So I think this is going to be an awesome opportunity to just kind of dive in and learn everything about the brand from the man himself.
Sure. Well, you can ask me anything. If I don't know, I will entirely make it up.
Perfect.
And you'll
That's what we like to
Fits
hear.
in with us perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Say it
exactly.
with confidence and no one knows the difference.
Exactly. It's and that's just how distilleries roll, I think. So we'll
Most
do
of
our
the time.
best.
And you can't make bourbon anywhere besides Kentucky, so
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
as long as you say it, it's true.
You mentioned
correct.
something about that at the masterclass.
What was that?
I don't know. Maybe you were just spitballing stuff, but I think you mentioned something in regards to if it's not from Kentucky, it's not bourbon?
Oh yeah. So yeah, I think because my distillery is in Kentucky, I think should only be bourbon if it's from Kentucky. So if anyone ever says, is it only bourbon if it's Kentucky when they're at the distillery, I say yes. I perpetuate the myth, the lie that that's the case.
And then they
So
go.
you're one of the reasons I hated giving tours when I was at Whiskey Acres.
Correct.
Okay,
Exactly.
all right. Now it makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yep. I like to perpetuate that whole thing.
You speak with an Aussie accent, and everyone from America just believes you. It's so dumb.
It's great. I can swear. I can use the worst cuss words ever, and
know.
people are like, "Oh,
No, it's funny.
I'm like,
He's Aussie.
yeah, yeah." Well, I can say "fuck," and no one's like, "Oh, that's awful." It's like, "Oh, goodness." That's how Steve Irwin would say it.
All right, so Greg, before Larrikin, tell us about your backstory. I know you've got a pretty cool, pretty
Sure.
interesting story.
Yeah.
And then, like, how did you get into bourbon?
Okay, so just the the sort of short and shiny version is Australian. Obviously, I grew up in a wine region south of Perth on the west coast of Australia. So the other side from Sydney and Melbourne, and all the big. Perth is apparently the most isolated capital city on the planet. And if you've ever travelled from Kentucky to Perth, you believe it. It takes me about 33 hours to get there. Because by the time you fly from Kentucky to LA, then LA to Sydney, then the flight from Sydney to Perth is another 6 hours. So it's far. But so I grew up in the wine region down there. My family have been involved in the industry for I guess 3 generations. And so I was around winemaking and wine people, forever. I think I probably did my first gin when I was, 13 or something like that, bootlegged in the back, and Dad would go off surfing and leave, 12, 13-year-old me with literally a bomb in the back shed, and no one would think anything else of it. He'd probably leave me with a half can of beer to just sip on while I was waiting, sort of deal. He didn't do that, but maybe he did. I can't remember. But anyhow, so I've been doing that for a long time, but then, there was an option for me to, go into the family business kind of deal, and making wine is farming 99%, and farming is just way too hard. So I was like, no. So my brother took it on, and I buggered off literally like in a book, and joined the Navy to, see the world kind of deal.
Sounds less hard than farming.
Yeah, 100%. Farming's hard. Farming is really hard. Screw that. I can't be doing that stuff. So yeah, buggered off, joined the military, did that for, about 12 years, I guess, including tours, all over the place, and then was sent to Washington, D.C. As military attaché at the start of, just before the start of Afghanistan, and then later on, obviously, Iraq. And worked at both the Pentagon and the White House out of the Australian Embassy, and got to know a lot of folks, and it was great. Deployed a couple of times with the US military to both countries. They're both shitholes. I don't know a better way to say it, but they are. Afghanistan's more of a shithole than Iraq, but then, yeah, so did that, came back, went back to Australia. Hang on, is that how it happened? No, I was here, and I was sort of retiring out of the military, and went to work for a private equity firm for a little time that did defence intelligence work. Then did a couple of startups that were in the same thing. One went pretty well. One was an absolute fucking disaster. And then went back to Australia briefly with the Australian Federal Police. Came back here with my wife. She's my Katie and partner here at the distillery. Is American from Wyoming, cattle rancher's daughter. We met. She was U.S. State Department, and subsequently joined the Navy. And so we did all that stuff. And then when I got pretty banged up in Afghanistan in 12 or 13, I was sent back stateside and patched up and then put on terminal leave, which means you can't do anything. You can't go to work. So I was down in Tampa, Florida, and a friend of a friend had a buddy that had a rum distillery down there, which is long shuttered, but he was a really good guy. And so when I couldn't go to work, I just went and hung out with him, and we made shit for tourists. And it was really fun. And then he buggered off for winter because he didn't work very hard, which is probably why he went bankrupt. He buggered off for like 4 months in winter and said, here's the keys, have at it. So that's when I started playing around with bourbons and ryes and whiskies, and that's where the distilling started. So that's probably 12 years ago now, maybe 10 or 11, no, 11 or 12, down there. And that's actually where the first rye we ever released was made in Tampa, Florida, and sat down there for 6 and a half years before it came up here. That was our high wheat rye for folks that have seen it out in the wild. Mm-hmm. It had the yellow label. We only had 40 or something barrels of that, and I just loved that whiskey. So that's how that sort of got started, and then I got jack of working for the man, and I took a contract job here in Lexington, and we just fell in love with Kentucky. And Katie was studying to be or finishing up her nursing degree in Alabama at UAB, and she came up for a week during break, and we just like, well, the dog parks are nice, people are nice, let's move here. So we did, and that's how we ended up in Kentucky. And then when you get to fucking Kentucky, there's nothing to do except horses and whiskey, and I'm scared of horses, so that was it. Deal was done. Everyone told us not to do it. Everybody said don't do it. Like everyone from Brent Elliott, who's a good buddy of mine, through to like people you could rattle off names, and because I was going out to get advice from folks, and everyone was super helpful and very gracious with their time. Every single person said don't do it. Everyone. And so we did it anyway. So I don't know why I even went through that process. But yeah, then we started life about 5 years ago or so as Lawrenceburg Bourbon Company. That was me, with being very creative marketing-wise, because we were in Lawrenceburg, so why the hell not? But it became pretty apparent pretty quick that no one goes and asks for a Lawrenceburg and Coke. So, it wasn't great from that perspective. And also, the other thing happened was folks would always, we'd get this question 2 or 3 times a day. Oh, so you're MGP because you're from Lawrenceburg, Indiana. And they would literally ask that question at our shop front while we were in Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. So, and I'm not bullshitting, that used to happen all the time. And I'd never even heard of bloody MGP when we started. So, we just were like, okay, this isn't going to abide. And sat down over cocktails, came up with a new name, Larrikin, which really fits us a lot better. Larrikin is a person that doesn't follow the rules, sort of works in a bit of a grey area. And it's Australian. It's an Australian slang term going back to the late 1800s, where the British, when they were, overlords of Australia and mainly with the military, larrikin was a very derogatory term because larrikins Australians wouldn't follow orders to go and get themselves killed from buffoon English generals, and larrikin was really, really derogatory. And of course, that was great because Australians thought, even back then, were like, hey, that's good, we'll roll with that. And so it's just become part of the lexicon now. And the closest thing, I guess, here would be like a maverick. Think of like, I don't know, what's his face, Tom Cruise in Top Gun, without the Scientology part, but with the Kelly McGillis on the motorbike part, which I guess in effect would make me the Tom Cruise of bourbon if we go down that path.
Hey.
Without the Seventh Day Adventist.
Without the Scientology.
Yeah, science.
Throw that caveat in there.
Yeah, correct. So that's how we ended up here, and now we're just motoring along and having a great old time. It's a lot of fucking work. Like, had anyone told me, I didn't like farming,
They did tell you. You didn't listen.
Oh, actually, they did. Fuck. Yeah, they did. Well, no, they were telling me more that it was you don't know anything about it, you don't know anybody in the industry. It's COVID. Oh, it was COVID, by the way. Yeah, so they were it was probably good advice. But you know what?
So, all right, so we got the distillery started. Legally you're ready to go. What's your first moves? Are you cranking the still? Are you, trying to source some barrels to just get some stuff out there?
Yeah, a bit of a hybrid. So, we had that stuff that we did, but not much of it. We had, well, look, this is how badly I planned this. Well, I didn't plan this. So, we had 4 barrels that were ready to release that were ours that I think they were 4-year-olds at the time. Yeah, 4-year-olds. And they were pretty good. And, I was just like, well, we had a little shop front in Lawrenceburg, an old dress shop. And we'd been sort of operating pretty much like a dusty bottle shop, if you like. We had doing that sort of thing, and that with the view of we were going to release our own stuff eventually. And then,
so you were selling other brands?
Yeah, it was like a vintage liquor store sort of deal. Not much; it was just a little bit, but it was keeping the lights on, at least paying the rent. And then we, you obviously have to change the whole thing, but we had the premises and all that. And then we transitioned to our own, and we had 4 barrels. And I thought to myself, well, given how much we've sold in the past 6 months, this is going to last us, 9 months. Anyhow, fast forward, 24 hours, we did our first drop, and it was really just local as Lawrenceburg. And we invited like the Rotary Club and all the local folks that we haven't seen since, but that's beside the point. And so we invited everyone, and they turned up to this little dress shop. It was snowing, and I didn't know how all this worked. And people were like texting other people. We had like donuts and shit out. We thought there'd be like 20 people there and stuff, And anyhow, I think it started at like 5. By probably 6, the place was packed. Like, and I'm talking, you couldn't walk through it. And then all of a sudden there was a line out the door. And this is at 7 o'clock at night in the snow. And I'm like, what the fuck? And then someone came up and said, hey, can you sign my bottle? I'm like, what? Okay. And then it got to the stage, my my good friend of mine was the chief of police in Frankfurt, and the sheriff, obviously locally, the sheriff had a car parked in the front with its lights so people wouldn't stop and pull up in front of the shop. The Frankfurt chief was in there doing a bit of crowd control, and we had to open the back warehouse part up, which was just full of shit, just so we had room for people to stand. It was crazy. And we had a bar and serving area the size of a small desk. And it was great. It was crazy, but great. But then, so that all happened, and we had to stop. Shit, we sold through half of this. We've got to stop. So we stopped. That's the only way people left. Anyhow, the next morning, we were opening at 10, and I rocked up about, 9:30. And there was a line from the front door going down 2 blocks to the coffee shop. And it was snowing pretty hard. And I called my wife. I'm like, Katie, you got to bloody get your butt in now, not in 20 minutes. And we still hadn't really cleaned up from the night before and everything. So anyhow, we opened the door and people just start pouring in, and we sold the rest of the, let's say, equivalent of 2 barrels, so probably 300 bottles or so in the next 45 minutes or an hour. And people had driven from Louisville and 2 hours and stuff to get there. And I was like, this is the fucking easiest money and easiest job I've ever had in my whole life. So I'm just going to release 4 barrels once a month and we'll be good to go. Anyhow, that was the only time that ever happened. And now here we are. But it was awesome. I think back to that. That was nearly 5 years ago now. Well, probably 5 years ago now. And it was crazy. It was just, but it put us on a really good track. But so I say that part, and that was a very long answer to that question. But then the second part was because we'd sold all that stuff, we didn't have anything that was old, 4 years old even to release. So, and it was COVID, which I mentioned before. You couldn't get anything. It's not like now where I've got brokers and people literally giving me Super Bowl tickets to try and buy barrels. You couldn't find whiskey. You just couldn't. And I had a friend who had a distillery or a brand, an NDP in California. You guys would know it. What's the name? I was going to say Uncle Nearest. It's not Uncle Nearest.
Hope not.
Their gin is called Uncle Val's, and their bourbon was Bibb and Tucker.
Bibb and Tucker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he sold that a bunch of years ago, but at the time it was still his. And I called him up and said, "Dude, I'm totally out of whiskey." And he's like, "Well, I've got 3 totes of 10-year-old 100% Canadian rye if you want them." I was like, "No, I don't want Canadian fucking rye." Anyhow, I let it go a day, and I was like, "I got to take it, or we're not going to." Anyhow, he sent me a sample. Actually, I don't even know if he sent me a sample. No, I think he did, and it was remarkably good. And I was like, okay. So we get that delivered, get all the labels approved and stuff, get a bottle, and I couldn't have sold it to start with if I'd attached $100 bill to the bottle. And I was like, what am I going to do? This is a disaster, blah, 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 blah. Then, folks like you guys started promoting it or trying it. And then all of a sudden, because no one knew who we were, of course. And so the whiskey was fantastic. It was 10-year-old, 100% rye. It was, in fact, just today we had a barrel pick come in from Indiana, and they had 4 or 6, I think, might have been 4 bottles of the very first one we ever released. And I talked him into opening one, which was awesome. And yeah, I think I promised to seal it back up for him, which I didn't. Like with Jake, I didn't send you your rye. Sorry about that. And so, but this, once it took off, we couldn't keep it on the shelf. And it was amazing. And we had enough to last us a few months, and that got us through until we had some of our own stuff that was worth putting in the bottle. So we kind of do a bit of a hybrid. Like, for instance, our bottled in bond, that was contract distilled by Buffalo Trace, nearly a decade ago. Our original small batch was also contract distilled, not now. We now have at the distillery, we run all pot stills, a 670 gallon, a 500 gallon. Well, the 670 gallons kind of just shit itself, and we're not sure why. So right now we're running a 500, a 150 gallon, which we do all our white spirits on, all our koala bear spirits, and then a 50 gallon still, which we do all of our fucking around on. So, but it's all pot still, and it's just been a wild ride, and here we are.
So what was that first whiskey you released again?
The first one was a single barrel bourbon at 4 years old, 70,
Oh, okay.
70 21.9. And the funny thing is, everyone's like, "Oh, you were really doing a lot of single barrels." And the truth is, we were doing single barrels because I had no clue how to do blending or even proofing. And doing a single barrel was just easier. Just pop the top, put it in the bottle, and put it on the shelf. So, I remember, this is only a couple of years, maybe 3 years ago, a good friend of mine from Woodford was up, and she was like, "Oh, can we try a couple of these barrels?" I was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "I'll clamber up," and she's like, "No, we'll just drill them." I'm like, "What? I'm not drilling into the barrel." Anyhow, she's like, thinks I'm a crack addict at this point, and she just goes and finds a drill, and she was a production person at one of the legacy distilleries, and she had all the little pegs to stop it up, and she walks, and I'm like, I can't watch. Like, so there she goes, she starts drilling in the barrel, and it's like not coming out, so I'm like, fuck. So then she's drilling into the top, and then it comes out, and she goes, "Okay, now you do one." I'm like, "No, something's going to go wrong." And now, drilling into a barrel is literally my favourite thing to do on the planet. Like, I just love it.
I can totally picture you smiling, drilling in a barrel every single time with a big smile on your face.
I did one of our American light whiskies the other day for a group that was in, and it was up high, so I'm drilling like over my head, and I'm drilling, and I say to one of my gals actually, I said, "When I pull the drill out, just put your finger on it so we can." Anyhow, I don't know if she didn't hear me or what. So I pull the drill out, and this 155 proof American light whiskey just shoots me in the face, goes down my shirt, and is just running down. And it was the gusher from hell, and it was all the way up there, and I'm like, can't see, and I'm like doing this, and eventually she puts a finger on it. I'm like, what the fuck? I was drenched in whiskey. This was literally a week or 2 weeks ago, maybe. But the people that were there who videoed it, of course, thought it was hilarious. They thought it was great. It was pretty funny, I tell you.
These guys always gave me crap because when they came to see me, I would just pop bunks and drop a copper dog in. I hated drilling.
I love it.
But drilling's so much cooler.
Yeah, nothing sounds more cool than wasting whiskey or having whiskey fly out everywhere.
I know, and when it's my whiskey, it's even less cool.
Yeah.
I'll be doing I'll take take a little sip, and then just pour it back in the thing, and everyone's like, "Oh, you can't do that." I'm like, it's 140 proof liquor. I can, dip a seagull in here and let take a crap and dump it back, and no one would do it. It's not going to kill you. But yeah, it's pretty fun. But we love having folks up. Like as I said, we did a couple of barrel picks today, and they were both super different. One was very corporate. They came in with like boom, 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 and the other one was a great supporter of ours in Indiana, and he came in and goes, "We've got 45 minutes. We need to pick a barrel." I was like, "Right."
They were there for 3 hours, right?
Yeah, they got there at 1. They left at actually more than that, 4:30, and they had to drive back to Indiana. And yeah, I know Indiana's the worst state to drive through in America.
No, you haven't driven through Nebraska.
Oh,
you drive through Nebraska and then say, "Okay, yeah."
Is that bad?
I've driven. Yeah,
I mean, at least there's nothing in Nebraska. Indiana, you got to watch out for cops, and it's literally just a passing state.
Yeah, the cops are crazy. The state troopers in Indiana. But Nebraska's just what? Nothing?
There's
Right?
One fence that runs along the entire highway, and that's it.
This is no joke. So there are spots where the most elevation change you'll see is the overpasses over the interstate, and it's 20 hours from Northwest Illinois to Salt Lake City, and until you get into like central Wyoming, it's nothing. Like the only thing between Illinois and before you get to like the Uintas in Wyoming, the only marker that is Kearney, Nebraska is the sandhill crane capital of the world, and that's it.
Ooh, I'd like to see that.
Yeah. That's like when I used to have to drive from Chicago to Cleveland all the time through Indiana, and you'd get through Elkhorn. You get to Elkhorn where the RV Hall of Fame is at.
Yeah. I was just in Paducah here in Kentucky. And they have the Quilting Hall of Fame.
Ah, nice.
Dude, I went and stopped and did a photo. I didn't go in because I knew I'd be there for way too long. But I did take a photo in front of because it was right by my hotel. I think it's the Worldwide Quilting Hall of Fame. So it was quite a special place. It was like going to Graceland. For quilting.
Paducah.
The sad thing is I never stopped in at the RV Hall of Fame because I was always driving at weird hours, so it's never open, so I never got to see it.
Yeah, actually, I'm going to Nashville for a few days tomorrow, and I have an electric car, so I always stop at the. They've got a great charging station thing at the Corvette Hall of Fame in Bowling Green.
Nice.
And even though I'm standing there with nothing to do, I still have never gone in. I just I should go in one day, check it out, buy a Corvette. But
Maybe they sell whiskey in there.
maybe we had a big day today. So today I get just this random email from, I don't know what the equivalent would be here, but it's the biggest duty-free, I think it's the only one in Australia. I think there's only one. They do all the airports in Australia, and they want to carry larrikin and koala bear in Australia for people leaving the country. And I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that just happened today. Like they contacted us through our website, which
That's awesome.
like that shit never happens. So, now
I
we
wonder
just have
how
to work out
Star
how to get
Wars
there.
is going to enjoy that.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
Well, it's not I'm sure they don't have much bourbon, and I'm sure people would love to grab something that has a tie to Australia. Like you're kind of double whammy
And it's got a
right
kangaroo
there.
on the label.
Yeah.
What tourist doesn't want
the-
something with a kangaroo?
Well, Jack is the big one in Australia, right?
Yeah, Jack Daniels and Jim Beam are the two.
I remember we were on a family vacation in Hawaii, like, I don't know, more than 15 years ago. And we were on a tour of Oahu, and there was an Australian family that was on vacation. They were stopping in Hawaii, then going to Vegas. But
Of course they would.
One of them was like, "Oh, I bought a case of Jack Daniels and shipped it back home because it's like $20 cheaper here in Hawaii than it is in Australia." It's like in Hawaii, it's like $20 more expensive than it would be in Vegas.
Yeah, they would have got here and saw it was like $12 and been like, "What?" Yeah, it's funny. Like Australia drinks most of their, well, certainly when I was growing up there and before I left, but through RTDs, through ready to drinks. So
Oh, okay.
there's a domestic brand, UDL it's called, I don't even know what it stands for. They've been around 1,000 years, and then the two biggies are Jim Beam and Jack Daniels, because Australia's very much a beer culture. So if you're going somewhere on a Friday night or going to the lake or doing whatever, or to the beach, we don't do lakes because we don't have any. If you go to the beach, you'll get stop and get a 24 pack of beer, put it in the esky or the cooler, and rock on out. Now, if you don't want to drink beer, you drink RTDs. So everything's in a can. You can put it in a stubby holder. We call them stubby holders. You call them koozies. And that's why it's a big art. Whiskey hasn't been a big category in Australia. It's just starting to emerge in the last few years. So you're seeing brands like Makers, where you guys are going, I believe, in the next little bit, and Jim Beam, obviously Jack Daniels, those big ones you'll see down there. But there's very little craft bourbon, and we're starting, apart from the airport thing, we're beginning to export to Australia at the end of this month. So we're pretty excited about that, because it means I won't have to ship stuff to my parents and say it's olive oil.
No
Not
one,
that I would do that.
no one would
Hypothetically-
ever do anything like that.
Yeah, hypothetically, wouldn't have to do that,
Yeah.
obviously.
Olive oil, essential oils. Yeah. No.
Oh yeah, essential oils are always good. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
I've
illegal.
done,
So
I think we've shipped barrel-aged maple syrup.
yeah.
Yeah,
I like
yeah,
that.
that's a good one. Yeah, people love. I love maple syrup, obviously, so I just send it over to my parents. They love it. Now they'll be able to buy it in Australia, and like if they think Jack Daniels is expensive in Australia, wait till our stuff. So, yeah.
So that's a pretty cool tie-in back to Australia. Have you made any relationships with any of the Australian distilleries at all, or is it just with?
A little more so with gin distillers.
Okay.
I just know those folks better. Although I'm hoping, because around where I grew up, there's gin distilleries everywhere. So, you go into Total Wine or Kroger or whatever here in Kentucky, and the whole wall is bourbon. In Australia, you go into that same store and that whole wall is gin.
Okay.
So I grew up around that. But there's a couple of really, from what I understand, I've got one bottle. It's called Revenant, I think. It's got an owl on the front. It's a really good looking bottle. But they make it's mainly single malts, Australian single malts, and not necessarily bourbon whiskey like we have here. But this Revenant, it's the only one of their products I've had is really good. Like, it's really good. So Tasmania, which is that little, when you look at the map, it's that little triangle-looking thing at the bottom. That's the state of Tasmania. Because of their climate, it's cold down there. Everything's on Australia's like the biggest island in the country-state island in the world, and then you've got Tasmania, which is this little state down the bottom that's just surrounded by water. And so it's this little island surrounded by water, and in winter, for Australia, it's really, really cold. And evidently they make, the single malts down there are getting a pretty good reputation. I would love at some point to bring, American whiskey to Australia as a distiller and actually make American bourbon effectively, but obviously it'd be called American whiskey. But do that in Australia at scale. I think from a bourbon perspective, it just isn't there yet. and it's one of those things I think you could do and really have an impact. But who knows? If I get through this unscathed, then I'm maybe think about it.
Well,
who knows?
There's not such a thing as unscathed in the distillery world.
Fuck no, there's not. I tell you what.
If you're still standing or not is basically what it boils down to.
Yeah, it's 100% true, Jake. I mean, there's my dogs. Maybe I've neglected my dogs, but whatever. God, I'm getting pinged for everything tonight. Shipping, dog abuse, whatever. No, my dogs are the best. They're Betsy Ross and Raylan Gibbons, and they're the most spoilt little brats in the history of mankind. It is. It's hard, but Katie always says there's no bad days. There's only hard days, and I think that's true. Like, I'm doing exactly what I love to do and what I want to do. I didn't know I wanted to do it, like this at this scale 5 or 6 years or 6 years ago. But I just love it. The thing about the bourbon industry is the people are so great. Like, everyone in the industry, from retailers, not all retailers. Jake, you're an exception, and everyone we deal with is awesome. But by and large, everyone in the industry is freaking amazing. And when you get down to the granular level of, distillery to distillery kind of deal, it's quite extraordinary. I've worked in a few different fields, and the only place I've seen camaraderie or a willingness to help others like this is in the military. It's quite amazing. It's just a great group of folks, and I'm very fortunate to have sort of landed here.
Yeah, that was one thing. Is like, especially like for small town Illinois distilleries, like we were like one of the things, if we were at multiple events, we're like, no, this isn't competition. Like, everyone selling whiskey is good for everybody. Like, everyone realizes the more whiskey off the shelves, the better it helps every other distillery out. So everyone's
100%.
Yeah,
and that's what it's like here. I mean, I had a call from a buddy of mine that has a pretty successful, very successful NDP here in Kentucky, and he wanted to, talk about distribution in Indiana. And I hooked him up with the guy that we've been using in Indiana. They're fantastic, and because the hardest thing in this business is distribution and finding distributors that do the right thing and aren't RNDC, as it turns out. We had RNDC briefly, and fortunately, we got paid about 4 months ago when we fired them again. But that was a whole shit show. It took a year to get paid, but that's a whole nother story.
Sheesh.
But yeah, the industry is great from a perspective of, he called me, I helped him out with that. I called Macaulay at Dark Arts or somewhere, asking him about a distributor. He'll help me out. It's just really cool. I mean, you don't do that. Pepsi doesn't call Coke and say, who can I sell to in Tennessee, and because everyone makes their own shit, and it's all a little bit different, and they've all got different stories, and the way they do it is different, and the people you're going to appeal to is different. And even if it's not, at the end of the day, to your point, Dan, it's what's that thing? A rising tide raises all ships kind of deal. In this industry, it is 100% correct. Like, it sounds trite, but it is absolutely correct.
Yeah. The thing I was ever most blown away about was I was starting to do research before I left about at the distillery doing a fill your own bottle setup. And so we were kind of looking around at similar distilleries to what we were doing, fill your own bottle things. And like, I remember I called down to Casey Jones Distillery. Yeah. And Peg hops on the phone, and Peg talks to me for about an hour and a half of all the lessons he learned, all the things he would have done. Yeah. And I'm just like, man, this is awesome. Like, he doesn't know me from anybody, just some random distillery calling him, and it's giving me all of his lessons. and
And that's
it was
the thing,
interesting.
right? And
Yeah.
when we were starting up, I didn't know how to fucking proof, right? Didn't. And I was calling up people totally like I didn't know them, and I'd call up and they couldn't have been more. No, everyone was super generous with their time, their advice. I couldn't get our little baby still to work to start with. Called up Buddy at Wild Turkeys. He's not there anymore, but called him up and said, "Hey, do anyone down there know how to work this little still?" And he's like, "It's a fucking pot still. I'll come up with one of the guys after work." I was like, "Okay." And I couldn't get it to work, and they literally switched it on. True story, 100% true. They jiggled a couple of things and literally turned it on. They said, "Have you done this?" I was like, "No," and it was the switch. Literally turned it on. And the guy who was the engineer guy kind of looked at me as like I was the biggest fucking moron on the planet, which obviously I was. And my buddy John thought it was the greatest thing ever. It was almost that I hadn't plugged it in. But
Yeah.
It's like when
And they don't care.
Yeah.
They didn't care because now they have a great story to tell everybody else that they had to go flip a switch to get it overturned. Yeah.
See, well, and this is the other thing, right? We're right next. Larrikin is right next door to Wild Turkey. Literally, we're 500 yards away, and everyone's like, "Oh, that must be really hard because you're next to one of the biggest, bourbon brands in the world," and blah blah blah. No, their staff that do their tours and work in their tasting room and stuff send people to us every day. And the biggest compliment, however, is that Mr. Jimmy Russell, whenever he's in the gift shop, sends everybody he talks to Larrikin. Everybody. So there you are. There's us, our little distillery down the road. And you've got, I think inarguably, whatever it is, the godfather of living godfather of the bourbon industry, sending people to Larrikin. It is just amazing. He doesn't know us from, apart from we're next door. I've met Mr. Russell a bunch of times, but, he doesn't know us. He doesn't come down and sit at the bar and everything, but, people come in and he goes, "Oh, Jimmy," everyone's like, because he's everyone's best mate. Jimmy said we had to come down because you were veteran owned and you were veteran distilled and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, Jimmy Russell said that? And, that's pretty freaking cool from my perspective, Like, yeah. It's just a great industry. The Wild Turkey guys and Four Roses guys who were only, 8 or 9 minutes away from, have all been awesome. Like, just great. Like, we had a thing in New Orleans, and I had my truck, and the Four Roses guys had a bunch of product, and they were loading it on a pallet. And they were gonna have to get someone to pick it up. And I said, "I've got a whole truck bed empty. Do you want me to just bring that back with me?" It was not a whole pallet, but and they're like, "No, you don't have to do that." I said, "Guys, I'm gonna steal one out of the back, and I'll drop it off to you on Monday." And they're like, "Done." So, needless to say, I got the best case I could and dropped it off. But, that was easy because I literally drive past there to go home.
Yeah.
So, that's just, and then, Four Roses are huge, but they've been super helpful to me, and Brent Elliott has been great, and everyone's just super great. We couldn't have done it without the support of the folk. And then you've got the Kentucky Distillers Association. They've been terrific, and yeah, it's just really cool. And Kentucky Bourbon Festival guys have been great. So, in our first year, if we hadn't Stacey and KBF, we tried to get in. They were like, "No, it's full. It's been full forever." And she called me and said, "Hey, we just had someone drop out. This is 4 weeks before the Bourbon Festival. She said, "Do you want the spot? I had your name. I told you I'd keep your name written down." It's like, "Yep." Had we not done that event at KBF, we probably couldn't have paid our credit card bills. You know, we didn't make it. It wasn't a huge thing for us, but it was for them. It was huge, and you know, we were able to pay off some credit card debt and pay the power bill and got us through the next couple of months, and that was because of KBF. So, you know, we'll forever be indebted to them for that. But yeah, it's just a great industry. People are really nice, and I get to do things like this and crap on to your folks watching at home. And if you've got anyone left after I've been crapping on for this long, they're probably all signed off by now.
Well, so I'll give you the chance to do a little bit of selling. So what are all the different types of whiskey that you guys make?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. Yeah, good question. So, you know, we sort of established ourselves with single barrels. Our single barrel bourbon and rye have, you know, our new bourbon, Gold Eagle, Jake, that you tried, as I told you, or I think I said at the event, won double platinum at the Ascot Awards this year, before it was even released. So our single barrels have been our sort of benchmark and put us on the map. Then we go a little bit. We try a few different things, and we don't do it just to try and have the coolest thing. We try a few different things because, to be quite honest, I don't know any better, right? And when I say that, it's like our rosewater, which Jake talked about before. You know, I didn't know that. Oh yeah, there it is, right there. Yeah, I didn't know that you couldn't make bourbon and proof it with rosewater. I wasn't trying to be clever or smart or anything. I didn't know you could. And I originally made rosewater to make a rosewater gin, but then I found out other people made rosewater gin. And I was like, well, fuck that, I'm not doing it. So I had all this rosewater laying around, and so I tried it in a couple of our different bourbons and whiskies, and it was pretty good. It was too strong, the one I'd made, but I was like, and I got into rosewater when I was deployed, particularly in Afghanistan. You'd go into if you're out on a job or on a patrol or something, you'd go into a village, and if they were a semi-friendly village, they would offer you water or rose tea, and you would always take the rose tea because it had been boiled, and because if you didn't, you'd be crapping your pants by the time you were back on the truck. So, so I just sort of got to know rose water or rose tea that way, and it's in desserts and everything. It's huge in like Turkey and all over the place. So we thought we'd give it a crack here, and we made this rosewater bourbon. We did a one-off to start with, and people just loved it, and so we kept doing it, and we got it approved by the TTB and all the stuff, and now it's one of our sort of core outliers, if you like. It's not something that people are going to buy every day, but you'll see it on cocktail bars in Miami and New York and all that sort of stuff now because it's unusual. And the reason I'm saying all that is, our single barrels are our thing. I made our bottle in bond. It's a 8-year-old maximum 5-barrel blend. The other thing we do is every time we do a new batch, they are literally by hand. And what I mean is I'll sit there with a couple of the team or buddies that happen to be in town or whoever, and I'll blend the bourbons together. I'll have like 20 sample bottles. I'll be sitting there like this until I get to the palette we're looking for or the profile we're looking for, and then I literally write on the side of them, this one, and this one, put them to the side and go in the back and dump them in a tank, and that's how we do it. And it's pretty simple. It's not very scientific, and so all of anything we blend will be a tiny bit different each time. So Rosewater, our small batch, our bottled in bond, and now our cigar lounge will all be a little bit different, and they all evolve. So we've got the bottled in bond, then we have the other one that's a blend like that is our cigar lounge, which I don't know if you guys have had. Gold Eagle Jake. Fucking hell. You've had it.
We do have the cigar lounge, yeah.
You do? Yeah. And I think you've got batch 6 or 7.
I think 7.
Yeah. So that's the perfect spot because, our Larrikin Cigar Lounge is a bourbon that's made out of 5 different finished barrels. It's a high rye bourbon that go into Madeira, cognac, maple syrup, Amburana and Jaquira fruit barrels, and they all finish at different times, and it's a whole thing. But when we started making that, a lot of our, it was, I hate Amburana. Raise your hand if you hate Amburana finished whiskey. Hope everyone at home is raising their hand because I hate Amburana finished whiskey to the core of my being. But when we started, I always thought, it's a cigar blend, so it's got to be a bit Amburana-y. It doesn't. So up until batch 6, we were always adding Amburana out of the Amburana barrels. One thing we do at Larrikin is whenever we do a blend, we always roll over 10 to 20 gallons of each batch, of the previous batch into the next one. So what we've done with our cigar lounge now for the last 3 batches, the Amburana portion has just been what's in the rollover tank. And what we've done now is it's really mellowed it out and got rid of that Amburana skank taste, whatever it smell, whatever it is, and it's a much more balanced whiskey. And you Jake, probably had the second batch. I think we're up to 8 now. And again, when I say batch, the largest batch of Larrikin we ever do is 5 barrels. So the cigar lounge is always 5 barrels because it's a 5-barrel blend. But all of them, the small batch, the bottling bond, it's always just 5 barrels. So, and it's done by hand. And I think that's why, people can revisit Larrikin stuff and have a slightly different experience every time because they're just that little bit different. And we'll have people come into the distillery now and say, "Oh, I really like. Do you have any more batch 4 of the, of the bottling bond?" And we're like, "Well, no, we're on batch 19, but give that one a try." So, but yeah, it's great. I mean, Nirvana Jake. We then have our what was I going to say? The
light whiskey.
Our American light whiskey. Yeah, the American light whiskey. So that was never going to be a product, like a standalone product ever. That wasn't the intent of it. That was always just going to be a little blender to give it a little bit of proof or a little bit of spice or whatever. But then when we cracked it, when it was probably 7, I guess. No, probably 7.5. Well, whenever. So we cracked it, and it was remarkable. I never tell people what to smell or taste, but I think I said this, Jake, when I was up at your place. I popped the bung out of the first one, and it just smelled like peanut brittle, like just straight out hit me in the face. And I'm not sophisticated enough to tell you, it tastes like leather or the back of your girlfriend's Buick or whatever. That's just not me. But this one was just peanut brittle all day. And we cracked, 3 or 4, and they're all the same. And they're all 145 to 165 proof. And they all drank the same. They're not hot. It's just delicious. And so we're like, well, let's single barrel these guys and see what happens. Everyone told us not to do that. Every person I asked said don't do it. Every single one. Not one person thought it was a good idea, including people that worked with us, like that worked for them. And so we did it, and it's been our biggest selling, or our largest selling SKU since probably March, actually February or March, up to this point. Because at the end of the day, it's a single barrel, cast strength, hazmat at 145 to 160 proof, and it sells for under $100, and it's delicious. So what we're finding is, a lot of people are sort of proof hounds and will buy stuff because it's 150 proof, but it's not really good. It's fun to have a sip of because it's high proof and everything. But the American light whiskey that we're fortunate to have. I didn't do anything special to it. It's just how it came out. I wish I knew how I did it. I don't. It's 15% malted barley rather than 1% or 5%, and that's obviously got a lot to do with it. But I digress. And so, but people will drink it, and then they'll go back and get a second bottle, which is not what you'll normally see with those high-proof hazmat bottles, because they're not something you want to sip on. But you put a big ice cube in the light whiskey. I love it with ale 8 or ginger ale, and it's delicious. But at 150 proof, you're on your ass pretty quick. So you've got to be mindful of that. Yeah. But yeah, that's been a big one for us. Our bourbon cream, our maple bourbon cream, is our single biggest selling product, which pisses me off.
Lowest margins?
No, it's not even that. It's it's fucking cream.
Yeah.
And it's got our small batch bourbon in it, and it has maple in it that is aged in our barrels and all that sort of stuff. But it's cream, for the love of God. But we make it with 4 things. It's got rum, bourbon, dairy, and maple syrup in it. There's nothing else in it. And there's no colouring. We don't put brown, so it's pretty light coloured. And people just love the crap out of it. And, I don't drink cream liqueurs and stuff. But I'll put this in my coffee every morning.
As I say, coffee is perfect for it.
Well, we don't have creamer at the distillery. If they don't want that, they have to have it black.
Nice.
So, good move.
Even the staff, like it's 30%, whatever.
Yeah.
So it's not. Oh, what sort of dog is that?
That's a Shiba.
Are they the ones that smile all the time?
Kinda. If they're in the mood, they're pretty moody.
Oh yeah, she looks like a moody little cow.
Yeah, he's. We haven't been outside in a while, so he's just waiting.
Oh, he's giving you a Care Bear stare.
Oh
right
no. You get used to it after a while. You just ignore it. So.
Oh, now he's turned his back on you.
Yep. Yeah.
No. So, come on.
He's done with you. You're dead to him.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, speaking of the cream, I got to throw it out there because we sold out of the cream, I think, in 15 seconds at the masterclass that you did.
Oh yeah,
it was, which is crazy because there's always, it's not, or there usually is a mad rush for something. And then as soon as we got to the cream and people started tasting the cream, it was like, tasting's over. Everyone stood up, ran to the front, fighting over bottles. And we ended up, the distributor still had some, and we ended up getting more. I contacted everyone at the class. We sold out again, and then got more. So if that tells you how good this cream is, if you have not tried it and you're a fan of bourbon creams, I would highly, highly recommend it.
Yeah, thank you, Jake. Yeah, it's as much as it annoys me that's our most popular product. We're now going to introduce, and we're doing we're calling it choc milk, but it'll be like a chocolate bourbon cream, and it literally tastes like choc milk out of it. It's so good. And we're doing what was the other one? We're doing a Christmas in Australia you have Christmas cake, Christmas pudding, which is like a big dense fruit cake. That's literally all fruit and rum. We're doing a Christmas pudding cream for the holidays.
Nice.
Nice.
It's like we're just waiting for the approval for the formula, but it should be okay, and it's just crazy. Like you put that, pour that over ice cream, or oh my god, yes, that's probably what I'm going to do tonight.
Nice.
It's too late for me to have dinner, so I'm just going to eat ice cream and put a bit of cream on.
There you go.
So, one more question I have is, besides bourbon cream in your coffee, what can people expect by coming to visit the distillery?
Sure, yeah, thank you. That's a good question. So
I've heard nothing but awesome things, by the way, from people that have stopped at the distillery. So,
well, thanks. Yeah, it's we don't do traditional tours. I mean, there's enough of those on the Bourbon Trail with all the big guys and everything. We don't need to do it. They do it way better than we could ever do it. And there's only so many times you have to get told it's 51% corn, dip your finger in this and do that. When we have visitors from out of town, we always tell them to go to Turkey, or if they're staying with us, and any of the big ones are the same, but Turkey or Four Roses, and do at least one tour of a big guy, and then go and visit all the little guys, because you'll have a better experience, in my opinion. So when you come to us, it's more experiential based. We have we're in an old tractor building that used to repair tractors and sell tractors and stuff, which we gutted ourselves and built out the distillery. But our tasting room is called the Bradman Bar, which is named after the greatest Australian cricketer of all time. But I didn't want Larrikin to be like every distillery in Kentucky. Not that there's anything wrong with those; they're great experiences and everything. But Larrikin is built more around an Australian brewery or winery out in the country. Concrete floors, high ceilings. We haven't changed anything apart from putting AC and stuff in and painting the place. But our tasting room is a bar, and you can do your tasting at the bar. You can do it at the table. There's music playing. The dogs, dogs are welcome. Dogs are running around everywhere. We have a walk-in humidor. It's quite dark in there. We have the only cigar lounge where you can go inside and smoke a cigar on the Bourbon Trail. And then out front, we have a big covered patio with a food truck and an outdoor bar. So folks can come. I think if you look at any of our Google reviews, what I like the most is that the Google reviews always, or not always, but probably 75% of the time mention the team by name. So if they're being looked after by Jason, or they're being looked after by Faith or whatever, their name is or Don or whoever. They actually say Don was great, or Faith was great, or Erica was great, or whatever it is. And that's what we've tried to do, is create an environment where people can come in. They might know nothing about bourbon. They might know everything about bourbon. And our team will engage with them, chat with them, spend as much time with them as they want. Or if they want to be left alone, they can hang out and be left alone and listen to my crappy Australian 80s music, which plays in the whole bar. Or go and have a cigar quietly out the front, or whatever. So our food truck serves Australian meat pies and sausage rolls, which are the greatest culinary invention since lasagna. And it's an entirely different feel to visiting a big distillery. It's just different. You come there, and our goal is that people leave and they feel like they're, just sort of hung out with friends, and we got couches. They can hang out on couches, have cocktails, do a flight. We've got beer from Against the Grain Brewery on tap, and our cocktails. We have a really good cocktail program, but it's super casual. We're like a casino though. We don't have any clocks on the wall, and it's kind of dark in there. So people gets to 6 o'clock, and people are like, "Why are you kicking us out?" And they're like, "It's 6 o'clock. Get on your horse and fuck off." And generally they do. So, but no, it's great. We love you. And if anyone's any of your viewers ever come down, all they've got to do is mention Bourbon Matters podcast, and we'll do a 2-for-1 tasting for them. So they'll save themselves like $20 or $25, whatever it is.
I might take advantage of that on Thursday, the 27th of August.
Oh, dude, just shoot me this month?
Yeah, yep.
Oh, cool. Just shoot me a text a few days out, and I'll show you around, and we'll go up and drill some barrels. You won't have to do the drilling.
Share his number.
No, I'm good with Copper Dog. I do have one last question for you, Greg, before we let Jake give a discount to sell some more. I have one final question. It's probably the biggest question of the night. What is this?
This will be good.
Is it a dildo?
It's a knife. Come on.
Oh. That's not a knife. This is a knife.
Yeah, that's what I wanted. God. All right.
I thought you would have a dildo handy.
It's a very sharp one.
Yeah, you have to be very careful with that.
Do you have a deep itch?
Yeah. That's a pretty cool looking blade. What is it?
Oh. It's me and Jake took forging classes and hand forged them out of a cable tie or a cable strand. So.
No.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah. Deer antler. This is the only knife I had. The only nice knife I had. So. Yeah, no.
I'm scared of knives.
That's not an Aussie thing to say. It's a ruler.
No, it's not. Oh, yes, it is. Whatever.
You had the metric side to the top too. This is America.
I've cut myself on too many knives. Yeah, that's right. It does have metric on it. I've cut myself on too many knives. The worst one, I was in a wedding party, and we all got little flick knives or whatever for wedding gifts, and I've had knives with me when I'm working for 20 years, and I literally cut my hand open on this fucking wedding knife. Oh, all right. Hang on, here comes Katie.
Oh,
hey,
hello.
Katie.
Hello, everybody. He can only avoid his mother-in-law so much.
Oh, yeah,
You need to get off the podcast and go and see your mother-in-law.
Seriously, they got here at 6. So we can be filming at midnight. What? All right. I better get off.
Great.
All right. Well, Jake, if people want to buy Larrikin, where can they do that at?
Well, of course, Gold Eagle. You can go to goldeaglewine.com. You can come visit us in Libertyville, 255 Peterson Road. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at Gold Eagle Wine, Facebook at Gold Eagle Spirits. But not only can you buy Larrikin at Gold Eagle, and not only can you also get a discount with my coupon code I'm about to drop, Greg signed all the bottles that we have in our store besides the bourbon cream, because we've had to reorder that a few times. So if you want a bottle signed by Greg, our current inventory of Larrikin is all signed, and you can purchase online on our website with the code BM for 10% off any Larrikin product.
Damn.
That's BM Larrikin, 10% off any Larrikin product in stock. Shop at Gold Eagle. Greg, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. We don't want to keep you from your mother-in-law, so you need to get out
seriously,
there.
Seriously. What else? Do you have anything else for me?
Well,
one thing.
Tease us about the gin. Tease us. You didn't talk about koala gin. Just briefly.
Yeah, I'll give you a
tease
quick
us about
thing.
that,
So
and then we'll go back to
I don't have a
Bourbon Matters and end this thing.
But we've just released Koala Bear Gin. It's an modern Australian style gin, which means it has, very little juniper in it. Americans, by and large, the big guys at least, make shitty gin because it tastes like you're sucking a pine cone. So our gin, we have Easy Peasy Lemon Squeezy, we have Resting Beach Face, we have OLV number 3 Olive Gin, and we have Best Mates, which is savoury. And every gin we make is only Australian botanicals. So stuff you've never had here before, like eucalyptus, saltbush, Tasmanian pepperberry, oyster shells, all this sort of stuff we put in our gin. And it's gone way better than we were hoping it was going to. And it just shows you, everywhere in the world drinks gin except the US at scale. And I think, I have no freaking idea again, but I think it's because the gin here is crappy. And so my goal with Koala Bear is to create the Grey Goose of gin in America. We're not going to be French because that would be nice. But we're going to
don't follow the French.
Yeah,
no, fuck them. I still eat freedom fries. Don't worry.
Good.
We'd love to. I'd love to at some point come down and do a gin tasting with you guys. If you only if it's you, me, and a couple of buddies, we can do that. One thing I would ask: we got hacked. Our social media things got hacked about a month ago, and Larrikin lost about 20,000 followers, which was a bit of a bugger. And I lost all mine, which was about 20, so that didn't matter so much. But if anyone's watching and spread the word, if you can refollow us, it's at Drink Larrikin. And mine is just, it was Larrikin Distiller, now it is the Larrikin Distiller. So at Drink Larrikin and the Larrikin Distiller. If anyone can be fucked, that would be great. We'd really appreciate it.
We got you.
Not a problem. We'll get that out there. So the distillery is at Drink Larrikin.
Yep.
It looks like Jake's trying to follow you right now.
Yep. Just did.
Jake, where can people find our podcast and our Instagram and things?
You can watch us on Spotify and YouTube, listen to us on Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Bourbon Matters. Like, subscribe, share with your friends, all that fun stuff.
Awesome. Oh, hang on. I think I found it. Oh, yeah, that's you.
Yeah.
I'm already following you guys.
Oh, jeez. Now we're getting another follower.
Come on. Yeah, I'm already doing you guys.
Whoa. All right, Greg. Well, thanks again for your time.
That was your site, by the way.
dig deep enough, you'll find something that you like in there, I'm sure.
Right, exactly.
I'll definitely see you on the 27th because I'll be down in the area.
Just shoot me a note a couple of days out so I make sure I'm there.
Sounds good.
You had me on the cigar lounge, so maybe Saturday I'll pop in.
Oh, maybe we'll have a cigar.
All right, guys.
Cigars too.
Oh, really?
Oh, God.
Nice,
Yeah, I'm there.
I've got to go and talk to the mother.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, Greg.
Appreciate it.
Cheers.
Cheers.